What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be doing another foundation review today. We are testing out the brand new Hourglass Vanish Seamless Finish Liquid Foundation. This is what the bottle looks like. Foundation is $56. It came out with 32 shades. I have the shade Nude, and I will talk about this a little bit later in the video. I got a completely wrong shade for me. I just need to be done buying foundations online because it's way too dark. That's why my sweater is all the way zipped up. This is a full coverage foundation with a natural skin-like finish. Has a very nice bottle. I love the frosted glass on it, and it kind of has that same shape as the Vanish Stick Foundation. You also get a pump with it, which is awesome. It's supposed to be good for normal, combination, and oily skin types. So we will definitely be putting this to test on my oily skin today. If you guys are new to my channel, I do have very oily skin all over, but I also do get dry patches, especially where I have some acne. I also have rosacea, acne-prone skin, sensitive skin, and I think that's about it. I'm just gonna read a little bit about this. It does say that it's full coverage, I already said that. That delivers instant full coverage with just half a pump, and there's no primer needed, but they do recommend using the Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer right here. It is free of parabens, and it's also vegan and cruelty-free. It's waterproof, sweat-proof, and transfer-proof, and it's supposed to apply like a second skin. So in this review today, I will be testing it out, giving you my first impression while I try it on, and then I'm also gonna be checking in throughout the day. I'll show you guys what it looks like after that entire day. So if you guys are interested in these types of reviews, I do tons of foundation reviews, so make sure to subscribe to my channel. And if you want to know how this foundation works out on my skin, then just keep on watching. Okay, it does say on the box here, for best results, prep complexion with Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer. I have that right here. I do really like this primer, so I'm going to be putting about a half pump all over my face to prep my skin. It also says on the box to apply it with a brush for the most seamless finish, so that's what I'll be using today. And before we get started, I do want to say I have the shade Nude again. This is way too dark for me. I ordered this online, and the shade Nude says it's light, medium, neutral undertone. So it's definitely not going to match me today, especially because I am at my absolute fairest right now. I'm sure this will match me when I am self-tanned. Anyway, so it says that you only need half a pump for your whole face. So I put half a pump on the back of my hand. We'll see how this works. I'm just gonna dot this around. And the brush I'm using is a Morphe Y6. Oh yeah, this is so dark. Oh my gosh. And it does seem to be drying pretty fast, so I would definitely recommend blending this out quick. Oh man, I just need to stop buying foundations online. Yeah, it's definitely drying quick, so I probably shouldn't have dotted that around my face. It actually looks pretty matte, and I only use half of what I put on the back of my hand, so about a quarter of a pump. I definitely wouldn't say this is super full coverage though, because I can still see my pimples down here. I'm gonna go in with a little bit more. It does look very soft on the skin so far though. It looks very skin-like. I'm gonna have to drag this down my neck, 1 second. I'm just gonna add a teeny bit more on my forehead. All right, so that is with about a quarter of a pump on my skin. I might go back in and add more just because it is so dark. You can kind of see through some places where I didn't fully blend it in. I'm actually gonna try using a beauty blender on the other side because that did dry down pretty fast. So I wanna see if it'll make a difference on the other side with the sponge. And this time, instead of dotting it around my face, I'm just gonna go straight in with my sponge. This is the Morphe sponge, by the way. Still is drying down pretty fast. I actually do think I like it applied better with the brush. It just seems a lot softer on the side of my face, so I'm probably just gonna go over this with the brush after to smooth it all out. Yeah, I definitely like it better with the brush, so I'm gonna go back in with this brush and just kind of smooth over everything. Okay, that's all I'm gonna add for right now. I don't wanna add any more because I do notice that in some places where I'm adding a little bit more, it is starting to look a little bit heavy, especially on my chin area where my pimples are. So I'm just gonna put some concealer on, finish up my makeup, and hopefully that'll lighten the foundation up a little bit and cover up what else needs to be covered. So this is what it's looking like up close on my skin so far. It does look very soft and skin-like. My forehead looks good. It does look like it's gonna be a foundation that's gonna crease in that line in my chin right there. And I do have a little bit of dryness over my pimples over here, so it is starting to cling just a little bit, not terribly though, on top of those. But other than that, I think it looks really good. I'm gonna finish up my makeup quick, and I'm gonna be using all of my go-to products that I know work well with all of my foundations. So I'm using using Tarte Shape Tape in this shade Light. For my concealer, I'm just gonna put a little bit under my eyes, nose, forehead, chin, just to see if I can lighten this foundation up a little bit. This is blending out really nicely on top of this foundation. Thank God it's lightening it up a little bit. Okay, that looks way better. Loving how that looks. So I'm gonna set that down with my Too Faced Peach Perfect Setting Powder. This setting powder is my holy grail for oily skin. I swear it locks in my oil so good. I'm gonna blend out that little crease right there and then set it with powder quick. Hopefully that'll stop creasing. And I also do set my entire face with this. I don't just set where I put concealer, just because I am so oily, and I notice when I don't do this, my natural oils come through way more, so I just like to lock everything down. A little bit of contour, I'm using this shade right here in the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette and a Morphe R14 brush. No patchiness, and it doesn't seem to be picking the foundation up anymore, so that's good. For bronzer, I'm using the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer, and this is a Morphe M527. I'm just gonna do a light dusting since this foundation is already pretty dark. I don't wanna darken it up anymore. I'm using the Morphe 8C palette for blush, and I'm gonna dip into these two shades right here. For highlight, I'm using the Marc Jacobs Spotlight Glow Stick. Just gonna take a little bit on my Beauty Blender and then bounce that in on my cheekbones. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of this Persona Cosmetics highlighter in the shade Cali Glow highlighter in the shade Laguna. Just a little bit and run over that. Then I'm taking a little bit of Burnt Orange from the Modern Renaissance palette. I'm just gonna run that along my lower lash line. And then I'm taking Red Ochre and then putting that a little bit tighter in there. Lining my lips with Colourpop Aquarius. And then for lipstick, I'm using Anastasia Beverly Hills lipstick in the shade Soft Touch. And last but not least, to set my face, I'm using Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. All right, so with all of my makeup done, I'm really liking the way that it looks. It did stop creasing in my smile line over here. It's not creasing in my chin line, however, it probably will. Most foundations do. I just have a really deep line in my chin, so foundation usually ends up creasing there. It looks very soft and seamless on my skin. I love how lightweight it looks. It is pretty full coverage, but again, I still can see through to my acne down here, but it did cover up all of my redness. Really only on this cheek, on the very lower part of my cheek right here. My pores do look, I don't know, a little bit heavier, but other than that, I think it looks great. I'm excited to see how long this is gonna hold up on my skin. It is 1:28 in the afternoon, so I'll call time there. I'm gonna try and make it at least 8 hours today, hopefully 10 hours, and I will be doing check-ins throughout the day to show you guys how it's holding up. I will see you guys in a couple hours. So it's been exactly 4 hours. It is 5:30 right now, and so far it's looking really good. My natural oils have started to come through a little bit on my forehead, but not really anywhere else. I think it still looks pretty soft. Actually looks very soft. I will say though, around my mouth, and I think this is because I ate, I had some soup, and where it dripped down, I can kind of see where the foundation is starting to break up a little bit. That might have been because the chicken noodle soup was a little bit oily and it started to break up the foundation. So my chin, it is starting to kind of fade off, but everywhere else it looks really good. I think my forehead looks great. It is creasing a little tiny bit in the smile line right here. Like I did mention earlier, this little clump of pores right here is looking a little bit heavy, but it's nothing crazy. I've seen way worse on my skin. From right here where I'm looking in my mirror, it looks absolutely perfect. I don't notice any of those little imperfections when I'm sitting right here until I get like super up close. It has definitely started to transfer off on my neck where my sweatshirt has been rubbing, and it's so much darker than my skin. So I am definitely gonna go in and exchange this for a lighter shade. I guess we'll see though when I am self-tan if this shade is gonna match me. But yeah, so far so good. It's definitely controlling my oil very well. I think this is gonna be my last check-in before the end of the day, so I will see you guys in a few more hours. All right guys, it's the end of the day now. It's 11:45 p.m. It's been 10 hours, a little bit longer. I am pretty oily right now, especially my forehead. That's definitely the shiniest. It is creasing in the line in my chin It is increasing in my smile line, but the foundation just rubbed off right there, so there's nothing to really crease right there. It's also transferred off the bottom of my jaw right here. This is where I rest my hands a lot, and it has mostly just transferred off my chin and my nose. I have a runny nose. I'm still kind of sick, so I have been rubbing my nose a lot. I will say, from a distance, if I sit here and look in the mirror, it looks pretty good for being 10 hours, but then when I get really up close, that's when I start to notice the foundation kind of just moving around and shifting. It's honestly not terrible. I have seen way worse on my skin. If you guys go back on some of my videos, like the Jouer foundation, the Huda Beauty, a lot of those foundations look way worse than this. So I'm kind of like in between on this one. It looked really, really good up until about 3 hours ago. So around the 7 to 8 hour mark is when it started going downhill. So I definitely would not wear this foundation again if I need it to last all night or just a long period of time. So I guess that's all I really have to say about this. I mean, I've definitely seen worse after 10 hours, but I've also seen a lot better. So I hope this video helped you guys out, and if you guys have any other foundation requests for me to do, please let me know down below in the comments. And one more thing before I go, I did want to let you guys know that my Valentine's Day sale is still going on for my lashes. It's 20% off everything. All you have to do is use the code VDAY at checkout. I'll leave my lashes linked below, and before in the video I was wearing style X-rated. I just did a huge restock on those, and yeah, I think that's all I have to say. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.